The Atari 2600 is an impressive gaming console. It was sold in 3 different decades during its original run from 1977 and being discontinued in 1992, making it the longest-selling game console in history. During that impressive 15-year span, 30 million of the consoles alone were sold. The best-selling game for the system is Pac-Man with 7 million copies. Why am I telling you all this? Because today we're going to look at Klax, a game that has 2 distinctions in video game history. First, it was the last official video game to be sold for the Atari 2600. And secondly, it was also the first video game to be available for all 3 major consoles at the same time, and those 3 consoles were the NES, Genesis, and TurboGrafx-16. Today I'm going to look at the Genesis version and the Atari 2600 version of this classic award-winning puzzle game. I remember when this game came out and I didn't understand what all the commotion was about. It looked cool, like a stereo hooked up to a conveyor belt, at least that's what my young imagination led me to believe. In reality, it's like a forced Connect 4. Did I say a forced Connect 4? Because that's completely wrong. Man, I have been out of the loop for a while. No, this is basically kind of like a mix of Dr. Mario and Tetris. So these, as you can see, this is the Atari 2600 version, which is very minimalistic, naturally, but it's still the same game, the function-wise that you can find on the later consoles. So the blocks come down this conveyor belt, you stack them on your little block holder, and then you put them down in stacks of 3 or more. And that's it. That's all you got to do. There's so many you have to get, and then after that you get so many points for the area that is clear in the block holder area. So it's kind of unique. It's another take on the stackable puzzle platform game. Before we look at the Genesis version of Klax, I'd like to take a few moments and talk about other things about Klax, such as, well, did you know in the Game Boy Color version, the guy that developed it, Mike Mika, if I'm saying his name correctly, hid a wedding proposal to his girlfriend at the time. Now her name is Mickey, and as you can see, there's the proposal on the screen, so her name would have been Mickey Mika? Wow, okay, a lot of M's in that family. Anyways, it took her a very long time, of like up to 3 years, to find it because she wouldn't play the game. Finally, what it took was for Cheats and Tricks magazine, I believe it is, to write an article basically telling her what code to punch in. She did it and then called him while he was just driving around because he purposely set this up for her to take a look at it, and she said yes, of course. But wow, I mean, he just hid that in a game. He's the same guy that modded Donkey Kong so his daughter could play as the princess and rescue Mario at the time. So, I mean, this guy's been known to do stuff like that, and the difference of this is that it was a commercial game. It wasn't a, little thing he did at home. It was actually a commercial product. So that's kind of cool. There's just some other little weird, little trivia things. Like, the game says it's from 1989, and it was actually released, though, in February of 1990. So that's just a little bit of a difference. And it was originally written by a guy named Dave Akers, and he programmed it in Amiga Basic, and then he ported it line by line to C. It was written in just a few weeks, and he wrote it just to be a quick game that he could just make. And he did that. And he ended up creating one that was considered in 1990. It was awarded several Cart of the Year awards by different publishing magazines and by a family magazine or a family group that advocated that it was a really good game and obviously alternative to any other of the, destructive games out there on the market at the time. Okay, so this is the Genesis version of Klax, and as you can see, it's the 90s, and there's time for Klax. Anyways, you get to select which wave you want to start on, so we'll just start at 1, because the later waves are just faster. And so as you can see, it's the same game as the Atari 2600 version, but just faster. You just got to line these blocks up, 3 in a row. They also market this now as kind of like a tic-tac-toe style game, which it can be. It is very unique. Now, the reason the game is called Klax is because that's the noise the blocks make to the developer's mind when they're rolling down the conveyor belt. They go. It sounds like Klax to him, I guess. So, as you can see, I just got 3 in a row right here. And then what's going to happen is just going to measure my score to see what I have. Okay, I only had 2 spots that were taken up, so that's good. Now I'm on wave 2. This game has a ton of waves, and they just get faster and faster and faster. So I would recommend checking it out if you love any type of, let's say, arcade puzzle game like this, then this is going to be right up your alley. It is terrific fun, and it's good clean fun too. The kids can play along. You can get this on just about, basically, if you look for Midway like arcade rehashes, because they bought Atari back in like 1996 and they got this as part of the agreement. So you can actually pick this up on like PSP and other modern consoles as well right now. Alright everybody, I know this has been a short review, but this is a good one to start back up with. This is Andy saying, good gaming everybody.